Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Today we're going to be looking at this really special book I found. It is awesome. I want you to look at the front cover. And what do you think this book is mostly going to be about?
Eagles.
Bald eagles. Okay. Eagles. What do you know about eagles already? What are some things you already know?
They're dangerous.
Okay. Well, why do you think they're dangerous? These students were grouped together in this particular group due to their running record level. Okay.
It's scary.
What else do we know?
They're big birds and they have big wings.
Okay, they are big birds, aren't they? And they have very big wings. That's something we'll read about too. Anything else?
That they eat their own prey.
Yes, they do eat their own prey. That's a big word. Let's go ahead and look through the book. Look through the book at the pictures and just scan through and see what you noticed. Okay, so let's close our books up. Okay, I want to just go over a couple of things with you before you start reading. When you're reading this book, there's some words you're going to come across you may never have seen before, and you may not know what they mean. There's a few. One of the words is carry-on. Carry-on. So go to page 13. Okay, and right here, this word, put your finger under it. Okay, that word is pronounced carrion, and it means dead flesh. You know how she was just talking about they kill their own prey? Well, that's part of that. It's something they may find that's already dead or something they may kill. So that's how you say that word, carrion. Another word I want you to notice is on page 7. And put your finger under this word. This is the word bald, and it's pronounced just like on the front, but you'll notice it has an E on the end. So they're just showing us where this word originated from. That's what it looked like originally when it was written. And that's pronounced bald, just like when we say bald eagle. Okay, and page 17. Okay. Put your finger under this word. This is pronounced talons. Talons, it refers to their claws. They're really sharp claws, okay? Talons. You say the word for me. Talons.
Talons.
Okay, good. Okay, and something that when they're talking about the wingspan, that's referring to how far out their wings will go because they're really wide. So you'll read about that. And the one other thing I want you to think about when you're reading the book, on page 24, right here, turn to page 24. These baby eaglets are covered with a thick down. A thick down just means that they're talking about their feathers, and that's what they call them, a thick down. Okay? Okay? All right, so as you're reading, though, I'm going to listen in to you, and I'm going to maybe do one at a time, and you can read in your head. If you need to read out loud a little bit, whisper read. But when I'm reading with you, I want to be able to hear you, and I'm going to take some notes. And as you're reading, though, I want you to think about, close your books for a minute and just listen. As you're reading, I want you to think about what makes an eagle special. As you're reading, you're going to learn some things, you're going to read some things. Just be thinking about, well, what makes eagles special from other birds or from other animals? And what I'd like for you to do is there's a sticky note in the back of your book. So look in the very back on the back cover, right in here. And you have a pencil. And so as you're reading along, when you get done, I want you to think about 2 things you found that really makes the eagle special, and I want you to put it on your sticky note. And we're going to talk about it, okay, when we're done reading. Okay. So a while ago, I showed you the word. Go ahead and close your book. I showed you the word carrion. Carrion. This word is question. And this word is session. What do you notice about these words? Yes.
It got I-O-N at the end.
Okay, and what sound is that making?
Un.
Un, exactly. They're all making that same sound. So even though it's I-O-N, that's the sound we hear. Okay? Now, as you're reading, what are some strategies you guys already know? Because I hear you are really good readers. What are some things you do if you get to a word and you don't know what the word is?
Chunk them out.
Good job. Chunk it out. That's right. You look for chunks. Okay? What's something else you could do?
Find the text.
Okay. The text, what do you mean? Find the text.
Like the main idea of the story.
Okay, so using the meaning of the story to help you. Okay. The first time I used the whiteboard was not the word work piece. It was something I wanted for them to notice a pattern for those particular words that were in the book. So I'm going to write a couple words on here, and I just want you to tell me where you would chunk it, okay? What do you think?
Golden.
So what would the first part be?
Gold.
Gold. And the last part?
Day.
Okay, golden. All right, and this one's a little tricky. Just read it in your head first.
Recognize.
Okay, so where would we break this word?
Start.
Rec? So what's the whole word?
Recognize.
Recognize. Very good. Very good chunking. And sometimes we have to do it a couple times if it doesn't sound right or make sense, right? Okay. And if you're reading along in your story and it does not make sense to you, like that sounded crazy, what do you do?
You can sound it out.
You can sound it out. But if I'm reading this sentence and I say, whew, something didn't make sense,
I would go back and try and chunk it out.
go back and read it again. Maybe chunk the word that might be tricking you. Very good. That's very good thinking. Okay, so go ahead and quietly start reading your book. And I'm going to pull one in and listen to one at a time read, okay? Okay, Michelle. Where are you, honey? Okay, go ahead.
While the adult bald eagle is easy to recognize, the young bald eagle looks like a golden eagle or a hawk.
Keep going.
The bald eagle has a wing span of 7 to 8 feet. Female eagles are bigger than males. Eagles may seem big because of their many layers of feathers, but their howl bones make them lightweight for flying.
Very good. Okay, stop for a minute. I love how you're checking your words and making sure they make sense, okay? Good job. So when you were reading, the first time you said the bald eagles has a wing span. And then you went back and you corrected it. What made you do that?
Because there's no L there, and I just recognized it and then said the real word.
You know what, that is good cross-checking. So you're checking your reading and making sure it looks right and makes sense, right? Check them all the way to the end, because on one word when you're reading, okay, right here, when you said female eagles are bigger than male, check that word.
Nails.
Yeah, always check all the way to the end, okay? Because you want it to look right and sound right.
Eaglets covered with thick down.
Okay, stop for a minute. Nice job reading. You sound really good. So I want you to go back, and this slowed you down a little bit. So I think the reason it slowed you down is you have to be careful. What do you do when you get to the comma? Is it like a period you stop, or is it like a yellow light you just take a breath and slow down?
Take a breath and slow down.
Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to start with the word when right here and read that sentence again.
When the eggs hatch out, come tiny eaglets covered with thick down.
So did that make more sense? Is that easier? Okay, nice job. Keep going.
Eagles start to hunt for their own food. Soon after they learn to fly, they are now called imagers.
Very good. I want you to look at this first word right here because that was tricking you. You're calling it eagles, and I think it's something simple.
Eaglets.
There you go. Yeah, you gotta look at all the letters and check. Okay. So what's the difference between eagles and eaglets? What's an eaglet?
I think there's more than one.
Okay. And remember when we were reading on page 24? What did we say eaglets were? Tiny.
Eagle.
So what are they?
When eagles hatch out. Egglets.
Eaglets.
So they're like eggs, tiny little eggs.
Okay, well, this is what they call baby eagles. Like a piglet is a baby pig. And they call baby eagles eaglets. Okay? So this is eaglet. So I'm glad you noticed that. You know, it looks a little bit different. This word right here is tricking you a little bit. Do you know where we could break it?
Right here.
Okay, so what does that first part say?
Fled.
Fled. And then we're going to put the G on the end.
Fledge.
Now say the whole thing.
Fledging.
Awesome. Fledging. They begin fledging or becoming ready for their first flight. Okay, so that's what that means. Nice job reading. Keep going. When the students miscued, what I would do is primarily be determined by the miscue itself. So if it was a meaning error, then I would just refer to that. Sometimes with a few of the students, it was cross-checking and praising them for cross-checking and self-correcting their own error. Okay, boys and girls, go ahead and stop and take your sticky note, because we'll have time to finish it a little bit later. Take your sticky note and think about a couple of things that you found that makes eagles special, okay, than other birds or other animals. Think about what you read and write 2 of those things down on your sticky note. Okay, now look at me for a minute. Okay, so what are you doing right now? What is the task I gave you? What is the task? What do I want you to do?
You want me to write 2 things about the eagle that is special about them.
Okay, so what is one thing you already thought of that makes them special?
They have very long feathers and very and they eat their own. They eat birds and like they eat birds and goose.
Okay, so they eat other birds? Okay, so find evidence in the text that show that. Okay, I want you to find the evidence for that. So what is something you found?
When they are 2 weeks old, they grow feathers.
Okay, so go ahead and write that. Okay, so let's go ahead and share out. Okay, so what is something you found? Remember what we talked about the other day? You don't need to raise your hand. Let's just have some discussion about it. Okay, so what were some things you found?
The male and the female both built their nest together.
Okay. Did y'all want to add anything to what she just said?
The bald eagle is a strong and beautiful bird. It is the symbol of the United States, where it is seen on posters and money.
So what is one thing you're telling us is special about the eagle that you wrote? What did you say?
They are the symbol of the United States, and they're on coins.
That's right. Very good. Did y'all want to add anything to what she said?
Eagles are praised and birds.
Okay, tell me what you wrote. Don't read from the text. Just tell me what makes them special.
When they are 3 weeks old, they grow feathers.
Okay, so when they're really small, they start growing their feathers, don't they? Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a couple questions and see what you think about. What did you think about the book? Did you like it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. We learned a lot about eagles, didn't we? How do they change over time? How does the eagle change over time?
That they build their nest every year.
Okay, and it gets bigger, right? We read how they just add to it and they keep adding to it and it gets bigger.
The feathers, they change.
How do they change?
Like when they're little baby eagles, their fur is gray. So when they're young, their fur is black, and when they get older, their fur is white and brown.
Okay, so it shows how their feathers change throughout their stages of their life, right? So that is it. That is different. Okay.
Like this picture. This one's maybe because this one's gray and that one's brown.
And it just shows how it changed, right? Even their head. Did you notice that? How it changed and was different?
Yeah, different types of species of different type of eagles.
So there's not just one kind. Okay, that's true. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I'm going to give you this, and it says, what evidence does the text provide to show how the eagle's life cycle changes over time? So I know you talked about the feathers, but there's some other things too, okay? So I want you to take this, and I'm going to have you go back to your seat, and I want you to look through the text and find some evidence of how their life cycle changes, okay? Do you have any questions? Okay, nice job. Nice job, guys. Thank you. I noticed that they're very fluent readers. This was a very good level for 3 out of 4 of the students. They've done some work in the classroom on chunking words, and that was very evident. One of the students who was very fluent while we were reading, she did not have any miscues. She just read right through. I would probably move her into a higher group for reading.